In this video, we're going to talk about the claim sale and how it's affected the comic book collecting industry, and I have a very special interview with A1 Comics. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this video, we're going to talk about claim sales. That's right. Over the last year, there's been a lot of changes in the comic book collecting industry, and one of them has been the explosion of claim sales. So in this video, I'm going to have a very special interview with A1 Comics, and we're going to kind of dig into this whole thing and figure out what the future holds for this new wave of buying comic books. But before I get into the video for today, if you guys could drop me a like or a comment or subscribe if you're enjoying the content, help support the channel, do one of those things. Also, we hit 5,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I can't believe that we actually hit this number. When I started my channel, I had no idea that we would even be close to this. So I'm so thrilled that you guys, support me and support, the videos that I do and just are enjoying, the content. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to keep the contest running through the week. So definitely sign up for the 5K giveaway if you still want a chance to win one of the books. You should definitely navigate over to the video, which I will put, I don't know, somewhere in the description or the annotation, or you guys will find it. All right. That said, again, we're going to talk about claim sales today. I was able to set up a very special interview with A1 Comic Books. For those who don't know, last week I made a video where I acquired my Avengers #1 from A1 Comic Books. It's sort of through a claim sale type of thing. So I wanted to kind of have a chance to bring those guys back and talk to them a little bit about, what's going on with the market of claim sales, and see if we can kind of learn a little bit more, and hopefully you guys, enjoy this interview and get something from it. So with that said, here's the interview I did with A1 Comics about claim sales. All right, well, we are here with our very special guest, Wes from A1 Comics. Wes, you want to say hello?
Hello, everybody.
So Wes, thank you so much for hopping on this Zoom with me here today.
Sure.
For those who don't know, Wes works at a comic shop called A1 Comics. A1 Comics is the comic book store that I was able to pick up my Avengers #1, the Grail I got in the video I showed you guys last week. But Wes, I wanted to get you on here today because one of the ways that I found that book was through your guys' claim sales, and claim sales overall have been this really kind of a new thing in a way that, or at least, has kind of blown up over this last kind of year within context to the pandemic. And it's become a big thing in the collectible market. So I thought it'd be great if we just kind of have a conversation about it today. I'm very curious, and I want to learn a lot about what you guys know and what you guys have experienced with claim sales. But we will get to that. But before we do, maybe you can just kind of take a moment and just sort of introduce who you are and what A1 Comics as a store, and just talk about kind of what you do and give that background.
Sure. I think I can hit on a lot of the things you touched on, introduce myself and hit on a lot of those notes real quick. And I think that'll help a lot of your viewers kind of understand. So my name is Wes, obviously. I do a lot of the social media side of things. I actually started helping kind of almost a contract work for A1 Comics. My good friend Landon is the son of the founder and owner, Brian Peets. So Landon Peets. And so we've been friends for a long time, and I've done contract work here and there, helping do promotional work, photography and whatnot. Sorry if you can hear the dog. Anyways, so we've worked together in the past, but when the pandemic hit, it was kind of a different situation where, I looked at him and I was, kind of concerned about the business, just like how everybody was. I don't know, everybody's area is different, but here in Sacramento, where we're located, things were really strict. At one point, we couldn't even do curbside or even a lot of even just delivering books to our local customers was an issue, and things looked, kind of grim. So we had seen, a little bit of the live sales that had sprung up on Instagram and some of the other social media platforms. And we thought, hey, we have this great foundation that Brian Peets, the owner, has already built a stellar inventory of back issues. I mean, second to none. I mean, you were in our Sacramento location, and I'm sure you saw a lot of cool stuff.
It was amazing.
And I mean, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg. So we have all this great stuff to show the world. And it just seemed like kind of the perfect storm where we're like, hey, well, why don't we do this? And I think that we have, a great crew of people, a lot of synergism. and a great, inventory, a great staff. And so we just put in a lot of hard work to kind of get word out there at the beginning, and it just, it snowballed from there. And once we started that rolling, eventually restrictions started to ease up as far as in-store shopping and whatnot. But at that point, the lifestyle became kind of a monster of its own. We started to get customers from all over the country and a little bit outside Canada and whatnot. And these are people that we never would have really done business with. Probably rarely. And now
Right.
they're people that we interact with on a weekly basis, and it's just
Right.
it's so awesome to us. I know that we're business people first and foremost, but it's seeing our community grow is absolutely amazing. And I think that one of the things that I loved when I first came, so I'm a Bay Area transplant. I know I mentioned that to you
Mm.
personally, like on the side. But when I moved up here and I walked into A1, and I was blown away by the store itself, I was also blown away by the community and the people that kind of, the locals that love the store. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of like wanted to make sure that we were able to weather the storm with the pandemic. And
Right.
we definitely did that and then some.
Right.
Thankfully, we're very fortunate. But the community that like we already had has just kind of transferred over to Instagram, and it's been wonderful. We really, a big staple of our Instagram sales that we strive for is making it be like warm and inviting and fun. It does get chaotic with some of the higher, bigger sales with a lot of people, but we
Yeah.
want people, we want anybody. We don't want we want a casual collector to come in and have fun and be able to pick up like a $5 book, and we want somebody to be able to come up and pick up a Grail if they want to.
Right. Right.
We
Well,
want you to just hang out.
Well,
So
well, well, let
sorry,
me,
go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Well, let me pause you on that because,
Yeah,
I feel like maybe for those watching this video, I mean, I assume a lot
sure.
of people are familiar with the
Mhm.
claim sale, but maybe you can just kind of break down, like, if I ask you that deceptively simple question, like,
Yeah,
what is a claim sale? Like, if I'm a new
yeah,
collector, like, I guess, drop that definition. What
yeah.
is a claim
We
sale?
do that weekly as far as explaining
Yeah.
how it works. So basically, one thing that's unique to our live sales is we do themed live sales. So we'll have like a copper age live sale or a bronze age live sale, or sometimes we'll do. We've done some themes that didn't hit too well, like Enchantment Under the Sea. We'll never speak of again.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
but
I
anyways,
missed that one. I missed that one.
yeah, it's all right. So we'll pull material specifically for that sale, but we usually have books from various different eras and whatnot, and keys and different books. But what we'll do is we'll have a wall that's alphabetically lettered, and then we'll put up a book. That book is a fixed price and a grade notated on it. If it's raw, it's grading that's done in-house by our owner, and we'll put it up on a letter, and then you claim it for that price, or you make an offer. Like full price claims obviously take precedent over offers if they're like kind of tied. And then we usually have one book that we auction off per sale, and that's a fun thing that people have really been enjoying. I've noticed. And that's kind of evolved too. We've been auctioning off kind of bigger books like House of Secrets, or
Right.
like First Swamp Thing 92. So that's basically how it works. It's very easy to participate in, and I know there's a lot of different people that do them, and they do them different ways, but that's basically how ours works. So
Got it. Got it. So
yeah.
you have a wall similar to, I
Hmm.
guess, what's kind of like behind my head. You guys have different
Yeah.
prices on the books and everything like that. And really it's just kind of the first one to write in that live stream that say, hey, I
Yeah.
want that Avengers 1 or whatever it is, whatever the corresponding
Yeah.
alphabet is.
Yeah.
They make the claim to that book and then first come first serve type of thing. That's usually how it
Mhm.
works.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Yeah, it's really easy, and thankfully, one thing, and I want to say, this goes out to your viewers, I'm sure too. Like the comic book community is awesome. Like there's a lot of trust, and I know that other like sellers like ourselves, in talking to them, there's very few people. It's like doing a claim sales is a trust thing. It's
Yeah.
like we're trusting people to follow through,
Yeah.
and the comic book community is great. I really it's pretty amazing to see how awesome people are. So for sure. So
Yeah. Well, let's touch on
sure.
that, the trust thing here, because
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure for a lot of people, obviously we all know what it's like to go into a store
Hmm.
and to like buy the books in person.
Yeah.
Certainly, in our lives, we've certainly done online shopping at some point,
Yeah.
Amazon or eBay. Maybe we've bought a book off of eBay or whatever. So the claim sale is kind of this new thing where you're sort of on good faith buying off of Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do your payment methods, but talk about that. I mean, even from your guys' perspective, right? If
Hmm.
I'm in the chat and I make a claim and you're
Yeah.
taking it off the shelf, you're in good faith saying, okay, this person's good for that. So
Yeah.
someone else doesn't want to, or if someone else was too slow to bid on it, like
Yeah.
they get that priority. So talk about that as far as like how has that
Yeah.
worked in kind of a two-way street? Like, is it safe? Like, is the
Yeah.
money, are you guys good for it? I mean, I
Oh
know
yeah.
that
Yeah.
your guys are a bigger store, but
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what's your feeling on that?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things like we do typically we do standard PayPal, so like goods and services and whatnot, so it's backed by PayPal. There's other arrangements we've made with that are more circumstantial, but you generally like a random customer, yes, your PayPal goods and services, and then what we do is we do like as far as the trust goes, like you said, if we were to put up a book and somebody like claimed it and then they didn't want to pay for it, the only thing is if that was an issue, it would be a lot of work that we potentially did that didn't was kind of for nothing, but that's not the case. Everybody usually follows through, everybody's really responsive, and it's awesome. So it's a big thank you to the comic book community for being such like stand-up people for sure. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's great. Like, I mean, I've been totally blown away to your point about the community, like,
Yeah.
in making some purchases online on good faith. Like, so far I haven't been let down yet. So
Yeah.
that's really exciting that, I think
Yeah.
everybody, we all love this hobby. We all want to exchange books. And I think the claim sale is just kind of a cool new way to do it. I mean, it's great. Like, maybe you can talk to this point here, but I feel like with the claim sale, as opposed to like say A1 in this pandemic wants to use a third party selling site, like you guys were going to open an eBay store, like you
Mhm.
guys would have to take a big percentage of that, and a lot of those fees would have to go to eBay, or me, the
Yeah.
buyer. I'd have to buy, like, I'd have to pay a little bit more because it goes to like these kind of eBay third party fees and everything like that. But I feel like with a claim sale, you can probably find good deals, and at least that the money's kind of staying between the two parties. I mean, do you feel like that's been true for you guys, or
Yeah.
consistent in that way?
Yeah. I mean, we have we have an online store through our website. We do have an eBay store. We have a pretty
Okay.
good presence on eBay. We have a lot of different avenues as far as like ways that you can purchase from us. But I think the nice thing that's great about the claim sale is that so much of it's direct. Like,
Right.
not as in, like, we're dealing directly with our customers. I feel like there's a little bit more of a bond with a customer that we deal with over a live sale than versus eBay.
Right.
Obviously, we can message somebody and they can message us over eBay, but it's not the same. A lot of these customers, they I'm answering DMs. So like
Right.
I'm
Right.
talking to you on the live cell and I'm answering. So I think it's a reassuring feeling. You're like, who you're buying from. So it's the closest thing to that like brick and mortar feel online that
Mhm.
you're going to get. Like it's the closest thing to like feeling like you're going to like a show, but you're still like able to do it from the comfort of your house. So like I think it's great. I think that sometimes I think that maybe shows, or there's certain people in the hobby that are like maybe new to the hobby, that shows were intimidating. And I think that maybe these
Yeah.
live sales have opened the door for those people that maybe were kind of scared to like go to a big show.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. And something I didn't think about is that it does kind of give a little bit of a show feeling,
Mhm.
where you kind of feel like, oh, here's the wall and here's sort of like the hustle and bustle. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can do it from the comforts of, you can
Yeah.
do it in bed, basically. Um,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
yeah, so that's always pretty cool. One thing that I did want to touch on, you talk about the brick and mortar idea, and you guys
Mhm.
are rare in that you have multiple shops under
Yes.
the A1 brand, and
Yes.
you guys are up in Northern California. I was in one of the stores, amazing store, huge display of everything. It's so much fun to be there.
Yeah.
But it feels like to me, like obviously on the online world is a huge thing. There's a lot of discussion about, obviously with the pandemic, brick and
Mhm.
mortar stores struggling and everything like that. Where are you guys, as much as you want to be able to talk about this, where are you guys with like balancing, like, it feels like the claim sales are very successful. The online sales are successful,
Yeah.
but you still have this like brick and mortar store that kind of gives
Yeah.
people like an experience of being able to go to and flip
Yeah.
their books. Like, how do you guys balance that? Or what are you guys discussing internally amongst
Yeah.
yourselves?
So we have a great brick and mortar store. I mean, again, you were in it. It's pretty. I've been in a lot of shops before. I've been to A1, and I was impressed when I first walked in the location you walked in, that's a big cornerstone of kind of what our owner Brian Peets is like a foundation for what he's built. Is he wants to kind of that wow factor. You want to walk in and be like, wow, there's a lot of cool stuff here, like
Yeah.
statues and books and whatnot. And that's something that we want to keep, and we don't want to get away from that at all. And like our brick and mortar side of things has been doing ever since we've been able to reopen for walk-in business. It's been doing great. And we want our walk-in customers, our customers that have helped build this company before all of this, the Instagram stuff and whatnot. We want them to still feel welcome, and like A1 is still the company it was before all of this. So we just I think that we're able to do it thanks to like just a great crew of people, like our hiring process. We've got a great general manager that oversees all three of our locations and whatnot. So it's a team effort.
Hmm.
But we also do tabletop games. We do Magic cards and Pokemon, which the market for that is going crazy as well. So
Right.
that
Right.
definitely helps. So
Yeah. So like you still, I mean, even with the success of claim sales and
mhm.
for buying comics and stuff, you still feel like having the store, the brick and mortar thing, I guess the in-person community is still sort of worth having
Oh
as
yeah.
a brand to your company.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we
I
love
see.
it. We're planning on once the California eases like some of the restrictions and whatnot, which is happening soon. We're planning on doing some like patio sales and some big stuff. That's a big kind of it's a thing that our customers are used to, is kind of those having those little mini events that are at our stores, and we're really excited to bring those again. It's great. It's one thing to see people in the live sales, and I love that. But I'm the kind of person, and I know everybody's different, but I love when a live sale customer, or even we chat it online, when somebody comes in and I could put a face to the name and
Hmm.
like be like, hey, some of our live sale customers, like, I mean, we genuinely care about how they're doing. Like, somebody, hey Joe, like, good to see you again. Like, how are you doing? Like,
Right.
it's a good feeling to see them come in and be able to chat with them. Because a big part of this hobby, I think, is the social aspect. And we make connections. I know you've made friends with other YouTubers and
Yeah, for
whatnot.
sure.
And so there's that. We always we talk a lot about grails in the market and everything, and then that's great. But there's a really great social aspect and a bond aspect to this, and a big part of that is having our storefronts that people can come in and congregate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's funny because like even for me, obviously I got my Avengers 1 from you guys,
Yeah.
and even though it was like a big trip and I rationalized it to myself like, oh, I'll
Mhm.
go see my family and everything. I still just personally, maybe I'm just showing my age, but I still personally just enjoy the fact that I got to like grab it in person and kind of get that
Yeah.
feeling, as opposed to like, I'm sure you guys would have shipped it nicely and it would have come
Yeah.
in a reasonable amount of time, but like
Yeah.
I still liked having that experience. So I'm definitely glad that you guys can balance an online sales, but also sort of have still
Yeah,
this experience.
it's huge to us. It's
Yeah.
absolutely huge. We love it. It's going nowhere. And also when you got to come in the store, you got the that smell, right? The
Yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
comic the
Yeah.
comic smell.
Yeah. You get to play all of the senses, which
Yeah,
is always
yeah.
great. Well,
No, it's great.
speaking of grails and keys, one thing that
Hmm.
I wanted to, what I kind of noticed is, and you mentioned this sort of earlier, where you guys do these sort of themes as
Hmm.
far as your sales. I mean, I've noticed on Instagram, you guys will certainly advertise like new books that are going to be shown that
Hmm.
week or that evening or everything.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that that's probably a big part of the claim sales, right? Is like having certain books, big
Yes.
grails or keys that people know, they can anticipate, like, okay, well, these are going to be there. I'm sure there'll be other great stuff too, but here's some of the big key books here.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, obviously you're going to sell them, right? Like,
Yes.
I took away the Avengers one.
Yes.
Maybe you guys
Yeah.
have, another
We just
one.
got a new Avengers one
Well,
today.
okay. Well, so you got another one,
Yeah.
but
A
but but
3-0.
to,
Yeah.
but to that point,
Hmm.
like, with comic books, it's such an
Hmm.
interesting business, because like your inventory, you have to get new inventory, right? You
Yeah.
always have to have these like great books and everything like that. You have to get your new Avengers one once
Hmm.
someone like me buys it. So how does that process work? Well, how do you guys get comic books, and how do you get new inventory? And then like, how do you go about like deciding, like, because I'm sure you always need to replenish those walls when you do your live claim sales. Like, what's that process been like for you guys?
Yeah, it's an amalgamation of a few different things. So we are very aggressive buyers, and
Mm,
we've made ads and whatnot, but I can't really stress that enough. I think uh, and I'm not trying to sound like grandiose or anything, but like we really like we're spending a lot to get
sure.
collections. When we're paying top dollar for keys and whatnot. And I know some people might think that that's crazy. I know there's a lot of like negative connotation with shops like trying to make margins and whatnot. But I think that right now we feel like with how healthy the market is, we're happy to grab a book at market, even if it doesn't sell. Books or like things are going up, so we're happy to grab a book at market. The seller's happy, we're happy, especially, I mean, silver and bronze age keys. I mean, we just bought an X-Men 1 and that Avengers 1 for market. And
Mm,
sometimes there's some books we might buy and we're like, hey, we're gonna just hold on to this. But it's great to have in the store, like just to say we have
right.
that book or whatever. So it is a balancing act. Some things are harder to keep inventory of right now. Like Silver Age is pretty hard. Like runs of Silver Age are pretty hard for us, but we're constantly, because of the amount of money we're willing to put out to buy collections, it really helps. But it's tricky at times for sure. So.
Right. Well, so if I'm hearing kind of you
Mm.
correctly, like, just in my own sort of experience, like,
Mm.
here in Southern California, the stores that I'm able to go to, I go to the ones that I usually know are going to have new stuff, because I'm always looking to see, well, what's new. So it
Yeah.
feels like, from your guys' perspective, having new stuff, even if you have to buy it at market,
Yeah.
is kind of an important business expense. It's like, in a weird way, it's like you're advertising, right, for the shop. That's like, you
Yeah.
need people to check in. So even if you don't make a
Yeah.
great amount of money on that grail or that key, you're still getting the velocity of people that are coming through the.
Yeah, well, and we want, we love having those books. Like we're collectors too.
Right,
So like
right.
there's a lot of different like aspects to it, but like we're like we have kind of like a we have like store collection, like kind of
I see.
hoard of
Yeah.
stuff in our vault that you saw, like the actual vault.
You're right.
And so like there's things that we're like, hey, this we really want, like we haven't had we got like a high grade Iron Fist 14 the other day, like 96.
Nice.
So like we're like, hey, we don't have a high grade copy of that book, and somebody was willing to sell it, and so we bought it. And it's just like we're like, we don't want to sell this yet. So so it's like, it's funny, it's like there, and then every now and then we'll let some treasures go from the vault. But yeah, it's fun for in-store customers. It's fun for people online to be like, oh, we're bringing in fun
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's just it's a fun, exciting business model for us. And it's worked really well to just kind of keep momentum and keep people like seeing that we're doing fresh and exciting things for sure. So.
Right. Well, transitioning back to sort of like just the sale, and as we kind of hopefully move back to normalcy, whatever normalcy is within post pandemic world. What's your feeling overall? Like, I'm not sure, it was A1 a shop that would go and do comic shows and sales and events and things like that?
Mhm.
And if you guys were, like, what's your feeling now on the future of shows? Because we have such success in these claim sales, and
Mhm.
like you said, they're kind of like the show experience. Like, do you feel like more dealers and more companies like yourself will just continue to do these things, or do you think that when shows, conventions roll back around, those will still be stuff that people want to participate in? What's your feeling on that?
So I think with that, so A1 our owner has gone to, like, it was a pretty big staple of how we operated, to go to a lot of shows. Like, he participated in Comic-Con, forever, in San
Mhm.
Diego. But then as it became more of like a pop culture thing, he started to pull back, and
Right.
that's not an event we're really going to participate in the future. And also, there's shows we're going to attend, but it's a lot smaller scale than it used to be. I don't, it's a lot of work to do a show.
Totally. I can only
Yeah.
imagine. Yeah.
And for us, with how things are going with our local business, and then also the online business, we feel pretty good about just kind of, being selective about what shows we do.
Yeah.
So I think for now, we're going to kind of pick and choose. And every now and then we might pop up at a show, but for now, I think that the brick and mortar and the combination with the online stuff is probably kind of where we're at. So
Yeah. I mean, and that's totally understandable to say. It's like, I had a conversation with another YouTube comic book creator. His name's Como Comic Books, and
oh yeah, I
yeah,
watched this stuff.
and he does sales as well, and he, he felt the same, or like, he's, kind of a comic book retailer as well for himself, and
Hmm.
he kind of felt the same with you do, or what you just kind of shared as well, where it's like maybe a little more picky and choosy as far as like what shows you want to get involved in, because
Yeah,
the claim sales obviously change things and open it up to, a different way of selling and buying for the future.
yeah,
um I guess what I would ask too, just kind of to sort of kind of tie it up and wrap things up. What's
sure.
your feeling overall on, like, just the future of claim sales in general? I mean, like, is it something that from your guys' standpoint, this is just clearly like a way that the business is going to run for, at least the foreseeable future? What's your outlook?
Yeah, yeah. I think that I think it's going to continue to go. I think it's going to maybe evolve, maybe change a little bit here and there. But I think it's a great thing. I think that the hobby, um, I don't want to get on like too much of a soapbox or like a tangent, but I know that there's a lot of like kind of rumblings about, like, oh, the bubble and everything, and
Yeah.
the market. But I really truly believe that what we're seeing right now is that the barrier to entry is a little bit lower than it
Mm.
used to be into to comic collecting. It's not as intimidating. And I think that what we saw is that there was a lot of renewed interest with the pandemic. And then, we see people that are able to watch YouTube videos like your videos, and, Chris's, and different people's, and learn about the hobby. And then now they have access at their fingertips on their phone to buying books. And I just think that the user experience, it's so much easier to learn about what you want to collect. You have CLZ, you've got all these things that are helping you, and ways to watch what's going on in the market and to be savvy. I think that we're at a really good place for the hobby
Mm.
just in general.
That
And so, yeah.
that's a
Sorry, go ahead.
really good point, and actually something, even just saying that to me, it's, I can't believe, I've discussed markets and bubbles and stuff
Yeah,
in other videos, but that's one that I actually didn't even consider too, of just, I've been so ingrained in comics
yeah,
for a while now that I forget that, of like how intimidating it
yeah,
is for a lot of new people, especially when you walk
yeah,
into that store for the first time, and
yeah,
you like Iron Man, you're like, maybe I want to buy like a cool old Iron Man book, but I have like no idea where to
yeah,
look or how to dig through, and not to say that you guys are like this, but other shops can be, not as helpful
yeah,
sometimes. That's been sort of like the
mhm,
stigma with the vendors and stuff,
yeah, yeah,
in other shops. But you do bring up a great point, that I think with the access to information, and then especially if you guys are up there saying, hey, here's this book, why is
yeah,
this, what's so
yeah.
cool about this book here, blah blah blah, then it gives
I mean,
people that
there's
easy
there's
way
key
to.
collector, there's all these different things, and I think that I think that we're in such a healthy place for the market that I think it's fun and approachable. Like a good example is my brother, who wasn't ever a comic book collector. We started doing these sales, and he hopped in, and he started, like, looking at YouTube, looking at CLZ, looking at Key Collector, and now he has an understanding for what stuff he wants to collect, and it's very easy for him to digest. And
Mm.
I know it's a bit scary because we see all these numbers. But I think that we just have to have a positive mindset, because I think that we're in a really good place. And a large part thankful to technology, and people like creators like yourself, different people putting out helpful information like Reggie Collects and different people. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Last couple of questions, actually, now that I have you,
Mhm.
now that I'm now the brain,
Sure.
the wheels are spinning.
Yeah.
Just from your perspective, as far as like what books have been moving to
Mhm.
that market point, like has there been any interesting trends that you've kind of seen as like a seller? Like you mentioned, obviously getting Silver Age stuff is hard to do. Like, do you feel like those Silver Age stuff is really in demand right now? Do you feel like it's really just
Yeah.
ease? Do you feel like, and then also,
Mhm.
what's the feeling of slab books versus raw books? Like, is everyone hungering for these graded books? Like,
Yeah.
what's your the trend lines that you see as a seller?
Yeah, I think we see like a lot of for age is real popular right now, but bronze is really popular. I think that I think that people are finally starting to appreciate like Silver Age run filler.
Mm,
I think that it was very devalued. But if like a good example is like high grade like Thor that isn't maybe a key. Um, I think that stuff like that, when you see it like high grade Silver Age Thor, like that's just an example. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff I would be bullish on. Like
mm,
like, and we as a store are, and I think that there's going to be market corrections there, but like stuff like that, because the thing is that how often do you find high grade Silver Age marble
right,
characters?
right, right.
So that's what and there's just stuff like that, and I think that Bronze Age is catching up, and you know, as far as slab books go, I think that there's a lot of people that like, I think with the online buying and purchasing, I think there's a certain extra level of comfort with buying a slab book that
Right.
um, we have a great reputation. Our owner has been grading for 40 plus years, um, but even that, which is longer than CGC has been in business.
Right, right.
But even that, is something about that, seeing a slab book with a number on it and everything, it is reassuring, and I get that. So I think that there's always going to be a demand for slab versus raw for sure. So
Right, right.
mhm.
People feeling, even though that you're paying a premium, you know exactly what you're buying, and I guess people are they feel okay with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Cool.
exactly. So yep,
Cool. Well, that's all I have, for
cool.
you here today, Wes. Thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
on. Maybe you can kind of let the people know about your store and
Yeah, I'd love
claim
to.
sales, and just kind of let us know where they can find you.
Sure. And so our claim sales are every Wednesday and Friday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We do tons of raw books. We do tons of CGC books, or graded books, I should say, an auction. We have a lot of fun. You can find us at A1 Comics on Instagram. Very easy to find. And as far as buying books, we buy from all over the country. So, and if you have any books that you're interested in us buying, we regularly again, are offering prices at market, sometimes above, if it's a book we really want to have in the shop. You can DM us, you can email me, really easy, Wes at a1comics.com, a-1comics.com, and our website, same location. So we're really easy to find. And if you're in the Sacramento location, greater Sacramento location, we've got 3 stores: Roseville, Folsom, and Sacramento. Come in. I would love to say hi to you. So yeah, we've got a great crew of people that are happy to help you with trade paperbacks, comics, anything. So
Very, very cool.
yeah,
Well, thank you so much, Wes, for giving some of that knowledge to us and breaking down the claim. Yeah, I will
yeah,
definitely see you the next time You got Avengers books up there.
Yeah, and if you're ever just in the Sacramento area, don't be a stranger. So,
Well, yeah. All
cool.
right.
All right, Mickey.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. Definitely, I learned a lot personally, and it was really interesting getting a chance to talk to them about, the process and just learn about it. I'm definitely kind of a fan of claim sales. I'm very interested in, always jumping into ones that I see on Instagram or other streaming services and always looking for books that I personally want. So definitely, it's really interesting to me as like sort of a new way to acquire comic books in this market. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop me a like, comment, or subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I will see you in the next video.